I'm honoured and pleased to have an Arsenal legend in the building, David Seaman, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Dean, can you hear me?
No way.
It was larger than life in every way, and he was a hero, not just with the fans, but with the players as well. They all loved him.
He was that good that in training, Steve Bold and Tony Adams, that he would embarrass them and they would try and kick him to slow him down a bit, and they couldn't catch him.
The ponytail on the head.
But I was born with a tash. I remember seeing an Arsenal team celebrating getting fourth. Yeah. And I was like,
Talk to them,
dropped
David.
quite a little way here. You know, we've done what we did. It's their time to go and create their own history.
Welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. It is transfer deadline day. This is it, the final day of the summer transfer window. I've been with you since the start of June, right through to today, every single day, bringing you transfer updates. And before I get into the updates today, I want to thank you guys very, very much for watching this show on a daily basis, supporting the show. I mean, the numbers have been through the roof. I see the comments. The love has been brilliant. I love the way you guys interact. So thank you very much for being with me every single day. And let's hope that today we can round it off with style and have a great transfer window. We saw the Champions League draw yesterday. You can see from this new format, there's lots and lots of games to be played. We got League Cup games coming up, FA Cup in January. We need a good squad. That squad is going to get used, trust me. And we made a couple of good signings so far. Riccardo Calafiori, great signing. Marino, another fantastic signing. But how are we going to round it off? So far this summer, those two have been the two signings. And of course, you got to include David Raya in that, because that was that was a loan last season and we bought him in and he's started off really, really well. But who else is coming? And it looks like the goalkeeping situation is the thing that is going to be first done today. Aaron Ramsdale moving, as we know, he's going to Southampton. That deal's been agreed for around about 25 million. And it was all expected that Joan García was going to come the other way from Espanyol over there in Spain. And he was going to be the new number 2 goalkeeper for Arsenal. However, that deal has stalled. 2 bids from Arsenal rejected. Espanyol holding out for the release clause of £25 million. They're not going any lower than that, they're saying. And Arsenal have had 2 bids rejected. They have now turned their attentions to Neto. And I'm not talking about the Neto who used to be at Wolves, who signed for Chelsea. I'm talking about Neto, the goalkeeper for Bournemouth. 35-year-old Brazilian, vastly experienced. Has been at Barcelona, has been at Juventus. And of course has been playing in the Premier League for Bournemouth. A good goalkeeper, a good backup. Will make a perfect backup. Arsenal have agreed terms with him and with Bournemouth, and he is set to sign for Arsenal on loan. There's no obligation to buy. There's no, options at all in it. It's just a straight loan for the season, and Arsenal are going to get their backup keeper. They're not going to go for Joan García by the looks of it this time around. Neto, age 35, going to be coming in as that number 2 goalkeeper to David Raya. And then going, of course, to Southampton will be Ramsdale. So that triangle will be complete. But no Joan García. Bit of a surprise. He was the guy they wanted. But Espanyol not backing down on that release clause. So Arsenal saying, OK, we move on to another target. They always have a plan B. That, of course, means that £20 million or around about 20 million that Arsenal were looking to buy Garcia for is available alongside other funds that have been in. So there's no excuses, in my opinion, for Arsenal now not to go out and also add a forward player to the ranks before the end of the transfer window tonight, which shuts at 11 p.m. Who is that player going to be, right? There's been lots of names floating around yesterday and already this morning. Raheem Sterling is one of them, of Chelsea. The 29-year-old is available. We know that Chelsea have basically frozen him out. You know what I mean? They went and they bought Neto, they bought everybody this summer. And they are willing to sell Raheem Sterling. Arsenal said to, prefer to maybe take him on loan, but he's been offered to Arsenal by the representatives of of Raheem Sterling. They've offered him to Arsenal. Arsenal have come back and said, listen, the only way we would consider taking Raheem Sterling is he'd have to take a significant pay cut. He's apparently agreed to that pay cut and said, listen, I'll take that pay cut and I'll go on to the salary that you're suggesting. I just want to join Arsenal. That's according to the ITK Team News and Ticks. We're going to have to wait and see how this one develops out, but this is going to be an interesting one today. Where does he go? We know that Chelsea don't want him. He's been frozen out completely out of that Chelsea squad, and they want him to go. They want to get rid of those wages. Could he end up at Arsenal? Interesting one to follow. Loan. Arsenal won't want to buy him, that Chelsea will want to sell him and get money back in. Interesting one to see. Raheem Sterling. Then there's the Ivan Toney one. A few days ago, I said, that I'd heard from a really, really good source that Arsenal were interested in signing Ivan Toney after they knew that Nketiah was going to be going out. They've made inquiries to Brentford about signing him. Brentford, of course, are looking for around about £50 million. He's wanted in Saudi Arabia, and that was the amount of money that the Saudis were willing to pay. Arsenal don't want to go as high as 50 million, but, Toney, who was all set to go to Saudi, stalled his move because he would like to move to Arsenal. Will Arsenal make that move for him today? What I've heard is that they're willing to go up to about 40 million, no higher. Can a deal be done? Can this one get done? Or will he end up in Saudi or even maybe Chelsea, even though it's looking more and more like Chelsea are going to get Osimhen? Doesn't look like Arsenal are going to move for Osimhen, but could they make a move for Ivan Toney today? Going to be interesting. There's a lot of things happening. Kingsley Coman is another player that is available, wanted by Al Hilal over there in Saudi Arabia. They put a bid in for him to his club Bayern Munich, which was accepted by Bayern, but the player has been stalling on that move as well. Would rather a move to another European club, especially the Premier League. There's said to be several Premier League clubs interested in him, including Arsenal. But Arsenal have not yet put any bids in or, put anything concrete in to try and sign Coman. We know that on that right-hand side, would like, back up to Saka. But it may all depend on what happens with Reiss Nelson. Who knows? But another player is going to be really interesting to see if he comes to Arsenal or where he goes is Kingsley Coman. Of course, there's Viktor Gyökeres. £86 million release clause. This one will be really, really difficult. Sporting in the Champions League, would they be willing to sell him on the last day of the transfer window when they haven't really got a suitable replacement lined up? I feel that this one now is starting to look less and less likely, although, as I said, that £20 million that they were going to use and get Joan Garcia, coupled with the money they're getting for Eddie and stuff like that, surely they could make this happen, but maybe not at that high release clause if it's insisted upon by Sporting. Looking unlikely, but you never know. Simon Adingra is another one that's been linked with Arsenal all week from Brighton. Goal and an assist already for him this season. Has been used sparingly though by Brighton. Could he leave this transfer window? 40 million's the price apparently that Brighton are looking for him. That's a lot of money. But Arsenal, again, looking for someone who can play on that right wing, left wing, Premier League experience, still very young, still very raw, but could be a great signing. It's going to be interesting. Again, I know I keep saying it's going to be interesting, but it's going to be interesting to see if Adingra does go. They spent a lot of money this summer, Brighton, a lot. They may be looking to recoup. Let's see. This one was quite interesting today. I saw this one in the Daily Mail where Anthony Gordon is interested in Arsenal. Now, this one don't look like it's going to happen this transfer window because Newcastle are not going to sell Anthony Gordon. Liverpool have been interested in him all summer, and there's been a lot of talk that he can make a move there. Arsenal, another club that are very, very interested in him. And according to the Daily Mail, not this transfer window, maybe the next one or in the summer, they could make a move for the left winger from Newcastle. England international, of course, got into the squad yesterday for the England internationals coming up. Anthony Gordon, not now though, maybe next summer. Another player that Arsenal is showing a lot of interest in is a player from Norway. His name is called Sverre Nypan. He's been described as the new Martin Odegaard. That's what they're describing him as. Still only 17, but he's already played 51 games for Rosenborg over there in Norway with 20 goal contributions, 10 goals, 10 assists. Is sparking a lot of interest across Europe, particularly here in the Premier League. Arsenal, Chelsea and Man United all interested in him. Central midfielder, has an ability to score goals, but also has really got an eye in that number 10 position for spraying passes and assisting players. An interesting one to see. Maybe not again this transfer window, maybe something that could happen more in January, but that's according to Football News. Over there in Norway, Arsenal interested in this young kid dubbed the new Martin Odegaard. Now, loads of players we're thinking about could be coming in, but there's going to be a lot of activity going out today as well. Aaron Ramsdale, as we know, has agreed to join Southampton, and I think the minute that Neto deal gets done, you'll see Ramsdale going the other way. Ramsdale for £25 million. That is what Arsenal are going to earn off of that one. Eddie Nketiah, his deal will be confirmed today. £30 million, 25 million plus £5 million add-ons. He is on his way to Crystal Palace. That one will be announced today. Two others. Reiss Nelson. Could he leave today? West Ham have been showing an interest. Fulham have been showing an interest. No concrete offers yet. Going to be interesting to see if there's any last-minute deals for Reiss Nelson. There's also been Leicester City involved. And Jakub Kiwior, despite the club saying that they're looking to keep him, could he head out this deadline day? Lots of interest from clubs over there in Italy. Gonna be very fascinating to see if Arsenal keep Kiwior, and if they do, where does he play? I mean, we've got so many defenders right now. That's another interesting one to watch. So it's going to be a busy day here on deadline day. Remember, keep up to date with everything here on AFTV. Turn your notifications on. It's going to be a busy one. We'll be updating you with all the breaking news throughout the day. And we've got a deadline day special taking place tonight. Kicks off at 6 p.m. with a special Invincible podcast deadline day special live, where we'll be keeping you up to date with anything that's happening. And we'll be talking about all the transfers so far. Then straight after that, we go live again right up until the end of deadline day, where we'll be, all over any last minute breaking news as regards to Arsenal right here on AFTV. Of course, we've got the game against Brighton tomorrow. Once again, thank you to everybody who's been supporting the show right throughout the whole of the summer. I've been really, really grateful. Listen, it's fantastic to know that you guys enjoy the show. So let's hope, though, it's rounded off with some good signings today, and this ends up being a good transfer window and a good season for Arsenal. Thanks for watching the show. Won't see you tomorrow. We'll be back for the game tomorrow, but I'll see you tonight. Thanks for watching.